No, I figured we could probably talk it out, and if I like anything, I'll just keep it.
Fair enough.
Because you never know what's going to happen in these when you're recording. I need to look at you, not you. Fantastic. Hello to the void, guys. How's it going tonight? Our audio might be a bit quiet, but that's because if we turn it up any loud, I get too loud, and then the audio doesn't know how to work. So it's been proven fact.
You're too rowdy.
I am. That's all right. We have Eve to balance it out. Unfortunately, audio does not work that way. No? No?
No.
You're not thinking so? Okay.
That's not how that works at all.
Okay. I keep looking at our recording, so I'm going to move it here. So now I'm looking at you guys. Hi, guys!
Yay!
All right, so we are looking over our notes for Pokemon the movie. The first movie, because it's pretentious, Mewtwo Strikes Back.
Not a Star Wars knockoff at all.
Totally not. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You put too much thought into these kind of things.
Oh, it's almost like we're reviewing a movie.
What? Oh, yeah. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Fantastic. You like my hat? I feel like it's very appropriate for this.
No.
No? No?
No. I don't get it.
No? Oh, okay.
I still don't get it.
You know what we really need to make this a legit movie review for
What?
Pokemon the first movie? Hold up. Hold up.
No.
Hold up. I'll be right back.
I have a notebook with notes about this because apparently I had to take notes on the Pokemon movie. So, well, they're gone. So, Pokemon, the movie. Basically, you got Mewtwo was cloned from Mew, right? And was supposed to be really strong, but let's be real, they're probably like a ton of like way stronger Pokemon at this point that have come in. So, I don't know how well that's held up. But anyway, you got Mewtwo, gets cloned in a lab. They leave out a bunch of backstory because they can't, you know, have Mewtwo be a sympathetic character. But anyway, he's like all, just kind of being like, hey, what's my purpose in life? And breaks out of the lab because humans are shit. And, you know, makes friends with Giovanni, the worst person to make friends with, to be convinced that humans are not shit. And realizes eventually he's being taken advantage of by a mobster and, you know, just blows everything up. For the second time, might I add. He does that a lot. And then, you know, starts, rather than going to, like, the Pokemon League or anything to find the strongest people, he just kind of sends out Pokemon with cameras on them to look for people that look strong and invite them all into, like, some sort of battle royale, which I don't know why that makes sense, but I guess it does. Anyway, he stumbled upon, you know, Ash and his friends, of course, as luck would have it. And, you know, you get your opening battle sequence, of course, with the revamped cover of the opening theme song, which does hit. It hits pretty good, I gotta say. The battle itself was a little bit lame, but the music hit.
Yeah, it's just one of those throwaway battles, like a throwaway character.
Yeah. With the best voice acting line ever.
Yeah, do you want to give us what that line was? Did you write that down?
Oh no!
He didn't even have to look at his notes, folks. That's how good he is.
It's a visceral memory, because it was the best voice acted line in the movie.
I think that's the loudest you've ever made the audio meter.
That's the loudest it's ever gonna get.
Well, no, because I talk into the same audio meter.
Oh, God. Okay. So anyway, Mewtwo, under the guise of just, you know, some secret anonymous person, is like, invites them to go to a battle using his mysterious little card with a little hologram lady on it, which, plot twist, is a kidnapped Nurse Joy for whatever reason.
Is that really a plot twist at this point?
I mean, no, but it's set up to be one, I think.
It's twisty. I don't think so, because it's clearly I felt like as 10-year-old me
true.
Watched that, I could clearly tell.
And I mean, let's be real, the censor in there was Brock saying, wow, what a pretty lady.
Brock's great.
No nuance there at all. Yeah, because for some reason Mewtwo wants, you know, slave lady person.
It's because he worked for the mafia. Who do you think Giovanni had do all his paperwork?
Oh no. Oh no.
You didn't think about that, did you?
No. And I don't want to. Okay. So,
We're back.
long story short, you know, they go to this port city. Where were they even supposed to be? I don't know.
I didn't take notes on that.
It never says. It's just a random port city. Maybe it's alluded to in the show that I never watched. But anyway, it starts to get real stormy. Turns out Mewtwo's like controlling the entire weather of the planet with his psychic powers because, yikes. You know, and so they're in the Pokemon Center and everyone's all like, yeah, the ferry's canceled because the weather's too bad. And then everyone is an idiot and decides to go anyway.
The weather's canceled. Let's go surfing on Pokemon.
Good idea.
That's fantastic.
But of course, before that happens, you know, there's the Officer Jenny lady out standing at the front of the crowd, being like, "Hey guys, everything's canceled." And then of course you've got the mysterious harbor master with the accent talking about a ancient legend about a storm.
Early 90s, of course she had an accent.
Yeah. Gotta have the mysterious person with the accent to tell the ancient tale.
The ancient tale.
Of, you know...
floods and world destruction.
Great world destruction, flood, and... Did she mention the Pokemon crying? I feel like she did.
No, there was only one instance that was foreshadowed, really, and we'll get into that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, everyone's like, well, screw that. We're gonna go anyway. And so you got the one kid who flies there on his Pidgeotto.
It's, you know, tornadoes, tsunamis, you name it.
Apparently he doesn't know the name of his own Pokemon because it's definitely not a Pidgeotto, it's a Pidgeot. But anyway. You got the one dude who swims there on a Gyarados, which honestly...
Power move?
Power move. Yeah, I could see that. That's plausible.
Let's see.
And
with the original amount of Pokemon, right? There was original like 100...
150.
150, thank you. 151 if you count me. Oh, yeah. Okay. But anyways, if you count them, Gyarados, would he have been the best choice for that task?
Probably. Either him or a Lapras. Lapras is first gen, right? Yeah.
We'll double check that fact.
But yeah, if there was a Pokemon to swim over around, it would probably be Gyarados. So, good on him. And then you get frickin' Ash and them. They, first off, find some conveniently placed Vikings.
You want to go across to the island, no?
Why they continue to fall for these things will forever be a mystery to me.
Team Rocket!
They don't actually ever find out. Wait, no, they do right before the boat gets
capsizes. Yeah.
They don't realize until the last second. And then, you know, the boat, of course, gets flipped. Giant storm, sea waves, insanity. And what do? They manage to swim out of there on a Squirtle and a Staryu.
What did Brock have? He was on Staryu too.
He was hanging on to the Staryu. Those poor Pokemon. If there was ever a case for having your Pokemon be evolved, I feel like that would be it.
Yeah.
Squirtle is tiny.
He's so tiny. I mean, didn't he have Bulbasaur help him too? Which doesn't really help, but I feel like he had him help.
No, I think Bulbasaur was in the ball because he would have drowned. He would have drowned
real fast. Drowned. Poor Bulbasaur.
Yeah. So that was a thing. And then, of course, somehow they managed to find this island. Somehow.
In the middle of the ocean.
In the middle of the ocean.
With no directions at that point.
No direction. Enormous, giant-ass waves that probably would have obscured any sense of direction or any visibility whatsoever. But they make it.
Yay!
Along with, you know, 2 other trainers. Which I'm honestly surprised there weren't more, but... You gotta have, like, the small cast of characters.
You know how hard it is to animate people? Mm-hmm. I mean, it was Pokemon. I'm sure they could get tons of throwaway characters.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah. So they make it to the island. Yay. Notes. Do I have any more notes?
On the island.
On the island, we find out that, of course, Mysterious Lady was, of course, a Nurse Joy. Because, of course.
Shocker.
And at this point, you know, they go and they find this mysterious giant palace place on an island. I'm honestly still wondering how Mewtwo made that place.
He's a psychic Pokemon, and that's where we're going to put that.
We're just going to leave that there.
Because that's how that works.
Yeah. And so, you know, Mewtwo comes out, reveals his big master plan of, I'm gonna destroy everything. We're gonna wipe everything out. We're gonna Noah's flood this bitch. And, you know, he's gonna take their Pokemon and clone them.
Because it's the terrible storm that will tear apart the planet. I don't know if that's the accent she used, but that's what I'm going with.
Okay. I don't know what accent she was using either. I think it was just meant to be mysterious foreign accent.
Like that's literally what said in the script.
Oh,
mysterious foreign accent.
Definitely. 100%. That's what it said. I'd like to point out that, like, the other trainers put an effort to nickname their Pokemon. Like, you got Shell Shocker for the Blastoise, and then you got Brute Root for the Venusaur.
Was gold, right? Brute Root.
I have seen this movie so many times over the years, and I only just now, like, was able to parse out what he was saying.
Brute Root.
And I only just now realized that he was saying Brute Root.
Brute Root.
I don't know why I never was able to pick up on that before, but... And I just wanted to point that out, because that's
doesn't nickname his Pokemon.
Ash doesn't nickname his Pokemon.
He don't care. He don't got time for that.
Apparently, he doesn't care enough to nickname them. You know, the main character and all. But of course, if you didn't nickname them, then how would anyone ever know what the Pokemon are called? That's bad marketability.
Yep, that's bad marketing, man. Can't have that.
So
not in a children's movie.
I guess in the end, it does. The answer has been found. And then, of course, Team Rocket kind of finds their way to the island too, somehow, holding on to the Weezing. Which
somehow.
Can
the
swim.
poison type.
The poison type that can definitely swim.
Totally swim. Aren't poison types weak to water type? Is that a thing?
No.
No? Okay.
No. I don't think so.
Obviously, one of us doesn't pay attention.
Yeah, no. But, yeah, and then, of course, we also get Mew kind of showing up because, for whatever reason, it's just like, hey, we're going to show up. I find it really interesting throughout this movie, though, that, like, you would think for, you know, a simple kids movie that you would have your clear, like, good and, like, the bad, but there's really not. Like, Mew, like, you would think would be set up as, like, the hero Pokemon, like, the savior type one that's going to come in and save the day. But it's really not. It's just kind of there to be curious.
He's like a cat. He's just curious. He's just chilling. And the American version really tried. Like, we noticed that.
They tried to, like, paint Mewtwo as, like, the definite bad guy, which, I mean, he is the villain of the movie. But they took away any, like, emotional nuance to it. But it was weird because in the end, Mew
was redeemable. He had to be redeemable for the end to work.
And then there's Mew as, like, the counter to him. But Mew isn't the, like, light in the darkness. It's just kind of there and is curious, just checking things out, messing around, and eventually gets goaded into a fight and forced into it.
Yeah, and if you, like, really look at them, they're kind of more like forces of nature than, like, good versus evil, which is, like, the American version coming out alongside, I don't know, we'd have to double check the year, but I imagine, you know, you got your Transformers and stuff like that where you have a definite good versus evil. So, like, America was like, oh, look at this thing where they develop characters and they have things that are natural. Let's make them opposing and not natural.
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, and then eventually, you know, Mewtwo... They get their gratuitous Pokemon battle for whatever reason. He's built a stadium. He really doesn't need to do this, and this was really just kind of to fill the movie with battles, you know? But you get your fights between the clone Charizard and the real Charizard and the clone Blastoise and the clone and the real Blastoise. And, you know, they fight it out. They get their butts kicked by the clones, of course.
Get their butts kicked.
And then after that, Mewtwo's like, inferior. They're mine now. And, steals all their Pokemon.
All the Pokemon get captured.
Even the Pokeballs get captured.
Even, the 10-year-old who refuses to let go of his Pokemon.
Oh my god, this kid is suicidal. So he grabs onto the Pokeball that captured Pikachu, right? And it goes down this freaking vent. He just, jumps in after it, has no idea what's coming. He doesn't know. This vent could go down for, miles. It could thin out and just get...
little tiny, because, how big's a Pokeball?
He could get stuck in there. This kid has no preservation.
Right? You would say a Pokeball's about this big,
oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah. The tube, you would imagine, would get to this tiny.
You would think that the tube would, small
That would be
out.
the smart design.
Luckily for him, it did not. It remained human size, and...
Apparently Mewtwo is not a, commercial designer for that kind of stuff, so...
No. You can tell based on his weirdo designs for the whole palace place. And, of course, so all the Pokemon get cloned, and you also get, Team Rocket kind of messing around, just doing whatever, just being the random comedic, stumbling into things to reveal plot.
Yeah, they're the ones who find out all the information, really.
And to also make "Who's that Pokemon" references.
Those are fun.
Yeah.
It was fun guessing along them. Let's be honest.
A+ reference right there.
Alright, so we get Who's That Pokemon references, and then Ash coming in ends up destroying the machine trying to get Pikachu and his Pokemon back. This causes all the Pokemon balls to miraculously explode out of the machine, completely fine, unfazed by the explosion.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And then all of these Pokemon who have no connection to Ash Ketchum just end up following him back out to the stadium in an epic blowout and dust and clouds as he and these Pokemon go to face Mewtwo and his Pokemon.
I gotta admit, though, as generic as the soundtrack of this movie has been up to this point, that moment hit pretty well, I think. The music was still very, very basic, 2000s animated movie, but it was effective there. That was oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, that moment, if you know what I'm talking about, you could visualize it if you've seen this movie.
He snapped the hat back and he meant business.
It was that time. So Mewtwo decides another showdown, this time by restraining his fellow clone's powers.
And all the regular Pokemon's powers. Because apparently that's a thing he can do.
Yeah.
And so now, instead of an actual battle, they're just all brawling with each other. And it's kind of terrible.
It is terrible. Meowth and Meowth's clone reflect on this moment, too, during this battle. And Pikachu refuses to battle his clone.
Which was terrible. That was one of the
awful.
Worst things in the movie. So, leading up to that, though, Ash just kind of, is running into things and trying to stop them from fighting. Gets blasted or psychic thrown away again when he tries to fight Mewtwo barehanded. And,
great.
He picks himself up and pulls himself over to the edge, and then you just get this shot of all the Pokemon fighting each other with the best use of a power ballad I have ever seen.
Right there, going on.
That's the one moment that really, really, that moment hit really
just
well.
sinks in, man. This is violence. It's needless.
Mm-hmm.
Which is odd message.
Yeah, it's a little bit of confused messaging for a show that's literally about fighting, but I guess it's probably not a distinction that a 10-year-old can make, but I guess there is a distinction between, fair competition and good-natured
controlled battles versus this outright
fight
brawl.
to the death.
Yeah.
So yeah.
My tongue's green. Sorry, it's been distracting me this whole time.
Why is...
Well, because I'm drinking this.
Oh. I'm are you okay?
Yeah.
Should I be worried?
Maybe.
Is your tongue going necrotic?
Maybe.
No, you're just drinking radioactive soda.
I was going to take another drink. Now I can't. I'll choke on it and then I won't be okay.
Oh my god. So we get, the amazing, really, really insanely cheesy but amazing power ballad, right? And then you also get Pikachu trying to fight Pikachu, and the original Pikachu just refuses to fight back until eventually you just get this extended shot of the other Pikachu just crying and just
like,
hitting him back and forth.
Already.
It's the worst.
It just breaks your little
heart.
heart.
I keep saying it's the worst, but there's another worst thing that happens.
Yeah.
Like, and then you, of course, you get that nice little Meowth quote.
Maybe if we started looking at what's the same instead of what's different, well, who knows?
Yeah. Good on Pokemon for being tolerant of each other.
Yeah. And that's nice that it came from Meowth, because he's on the typical bad guy team. And during the movies, they take on more of that morally gray zone.
Oh yeah, they're just there for the comedic effect. So to suddenly like have that character be like, oh, here's a nice message. Here's the message of the movie, guys.
We're gonna spoon feed it to you because you guys are 10.
Yes.
Which is fair, actually, in this movie.
That is valid. Good job. Good job, creators. You did well there.
And then you come to the tearjerker scene.
Yep, so all the Pokemon, they're finally all collapsed. You got Mew and Mewtwo just duking it out, right, with their, like, laser beams and energy balls and all that. And then finally you get Ash just being like, that's it. Runs into the middle like the idiot with
10-year-old human
with no self-preservation, which we've already established, so it's not surprising. And, you know, gets hit directly by both of their attacks and just kind of falls down and dies.
He turns to stone in the animation. Even I have decided that that was because having just a plain old dead body there might have actually been more terrifying.
That would have been the worst. I would have been scarred for life. For sure.
Just 10-year-old Ash totally dead there.
Can you imagine? Like we all cried during that, like, to start with. Can you imagine?
Yeah. No. Mommy, what happened to Ash?
He turned to stone is a lot better than he's dead. He is dead there, but, like, there's different connotations.
But you can say different things to explain what happened. Yeah. Oh, he turned to stone.
Yeah. So, yeah, that happened.
Get little Pikachu just trying to revive his owner.
The worst scene in cinematic history.
Right
I will fight you.
I'd pay to watch that.
I will fight you in the comments. Engagement.
Engagement right there. Any takers? Come on. Eve's reeling to go.
I am not good at conflict. Please do not fight me in the comments.
Anyway, so you have this emotional scene, and it pulls the heartstrings of the viewers and the Pokemon alike. Mm-hmm. And so all the Pokemon bond together. They don't realize it, I don't think, but their tears end up flowing, and that's what brings Ash Ketchum back to life.
They all start crying, and the power of friendship brings them back to life. And then Mewtwo, witnessing this, goes, wow, that was the power of friendship. Maybe you guys aren't so bad after all. And so he, you know, takes all his clone Pokemon. They all rise to the air in, you know, trails of sparkles. The storm starts clearing. You see the sunlight. And you see Mewtwo being like, I see now that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. It's what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are, which is a great message, by the way. Like,
until you get to the end of that.
And then, you know, they all start rising. Nice little montage of all the clones flying up into the air. And then they're just like, okay, cool, I'm going to go now. And Mewtwo just kind of erases their memories and leaves.
I was about to say, you're forgetting the fun part. None of them get to remember this encounter.
They don't get to learn the power of friendship.
Just Mewtwo, because he's selfish.
So our characters have gone through this whole ordeal of the world almost being destroyed, and, you know, Ash dying, and then coming back to life, and then they don't get to remember any of it. How are they supposed to learn the power of friendship that they've spent all of the time in the anime learning?
They don't get to learn it.
They don't.
They're just supposed to know in their hearts that friendship has power, and that Rainbow Dash is going to come down and reteach this to them in the next episode.
Oh dear.
No? Yeah, Rainbow Dash was a thing.
Wrong show. We don't talk about that here.
Oh, Theo's going to be so sad.
Good.
Anyways,
That
so
kid better not grow up to be a brony.
he's already on his way to be a brony.
Oh no. You need to stop this.
I've tried, okay? I've tried redirecting it to Miraculous Ladybug. I've tried redirecting it to, he's really into number blocks right now. But it's My Little Pony.
Oh,
That's
gosh.
his heart and soul. Alright, so.
No offense to any bronies out there. We're just trying to save this poor child's soul.
It's already lost.
Bronies are valid.
Bronies are very valid.
Okay.
I know some bronies.
I'm sure I know some too.
Okay.
But anyway,
Let's go back to those tears.
Let's go back to that ending that made no sense.
I really want to go back and dive into those tears because those kind of come out of the blue if you watch the movie Raw.
Yes.
With no intro. So you want to dive into the intro? I can dive into
the whole intro that got cut from the English version of the movie, but they still recorded it all in English. They just didn't include it in any of the versions of the films, or in most of like the deleted scene stuff even.
I had to surf to find a link to this. I will probably link it below. So if you guys want to check this out, it's going to be in the link down below, along with our Patreon link and all that fun stuff. Where
Way to plug.
Hey, I got it. We're good.
All right, so the whole Mewtwo backstory that got left out because like they still gave him a decent amount of backstory to begin with, like a good solid like 10-15 minutes is just devoted to it, but there's like another 10 minutes that they left out.
Yes, and in this backstory, you start it off with Mew is with these explorers. And they're trying to find Mew's DNA. So they found his DNA, right? And you cut to this scientist. Well, in this extended version of the cut, because yes, they cut it twice.
Yes.
So in the cut of the cut, you find out that the scientist who's working on Mewtwo is also trying to bring back his daughter.
Yay, cloning, because that's how that works.
Did
That's not fucked up at all.
the daughter have a name? Did we write down a name?
I don't think she had a name.
Okay.
Well, he might have said her name. I don't remember.
Fudge, because I didn't write down her name.
It's not memorable. It's not too important.
It's not, well, you know, it's so not important. They cut it from the movie.
Yeah. But anyway, he's like obsessed with bringing his daughter back to the point where he puts his marriage in jeopardy, which they also included. Like, I also kind of get, like, leaving that stuff out of the film for 10-year-olds.
But it added so much to it.
It did. So you get this girl's consciousness that's somehow been, you know, maintained in a glass vat or something.
Yeah, and in the animation, they show her as, like, this glowing green thing, and I feel like that's actually supposed to be, like, her in the jar, and I feel like they just turned it to glowing green.
Because having an actual human body would have been a little bit problematic for a 10-year-old movie.
But it's a small human child. Yeah. So that's a thing.
Yeah. And they also had a couple Pokemon that they had been working on cloning, and they had little baby Mewtwo. Who was in the process of growing. And somehow through Mewtwo's like psychic powers, their consciousnesses all sort of connected, and he got to learn a little bit about the world through this little girl that he got to know.
Yes.
She died.
Which was not good. She was the last to die, actually. He got to watch the other 3 Pokemon slowly fade and vanish. And Mew nor the little girl were able to explain what was going on with them. The little girl tried, but...
She's like, oh, it seems like it's time for us to go. I don't know why, but this is happening. Sorry.
And then she fades into the... It was nighttime in her memory with the full moon, wasn't it?
I think it turned to night.
Yeah, because she was showing him what a sunset looked like.
Yeah.
And what the stars looked like when this was happening.
And so they fade, and you get little poor crying baby Mewtwo.
But the important part for the tears, right? Oh, we're talking about tears.
Yes, she talked about the legend
of the Pokemon tears being able to heal. So this short, not only did they cut it because it has all this heavy-duty emotional baggage stuff, but it also has foreshadowing that would have been really great for the movie. And you noticed something about the soundtrack playing.
Yeah, they read the motif that's playing when the girl dies. It replays when the Pokemon start crying and the tears come and bring Ash back to life. So it kind of comes full circle there in a neat little way.
Super cute.
one of the moments where I'm like, oh, good job, soundtrack.
And
I
then-
haven't been super impressed so far, but good job.
But good job. That really tied it together.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, they wiped Mewtwo's memory of the whole
Of
event.
all of that, because they can't have sad Mewtwo. That didn't save them in the end.
Nope.
Well, they
Well.
tried.
They tried.
If you have not seen the Pokemon movie, it's worth a watch. It's not a masterpiece by any means, but if you like Pokemon and you for some reason have not seen the original Pokemon movie,
You know what? Before we do this bit, you know what we pointed out that I made a note of?
What?
Gary got to keep his memories of Mewtwo, and Ash didn't.
oh yeah. So when Mewtwo is with Giovanni, it shows Mewtwo doing fights for Giovanni. It kind of goes off as like him like testing his powers and stuff, but it looks like, we know, like in the games, I don't know if it happens in the show because I've never seen the show, but Giovanni's one of the gym leaders, right? So like it's kind of implied that he's using Mewtwo in
These
freaking gym battles
Against 10-year-olds.
against 10-year-olds. And one of the shots you see is Gary. Like,
In the
it
battle.
looks like Gary. It doesn't show, I don't think it shows his face. I might be wrong on
I'll
that.
I'll
But
flip it up so you guys can see what we're
it's
talking
Gary.
about.
And it's his Pokemon. And Mewtwo kicks his ass, right? Like, because it's Mewtwo. Like, this asshole's using Mewtwo in gym battles.
But Gary gets to keep his memories of that.
Gary
And Ash
gets to
Ketchum
remember
doesn't.
Mewtwo, and Ash does not.
That's BS.
Yeah.
Ash saves the
Unfair.
world. The first time he gets to save the world that we know of.
And he doesn't even get to remember it.
That's
Bullshit.
heckin' rude. But yeah, so if we were gonna rate the movie right now,
I don't know. It's hard to give it like an overall rating. Like,
right?
soundtrack wise, original soundtrack, like 5 out of 10. It's not exciting at all.
Yeah.
The covers and the power ballad, 8 out of 10. Good stuff. Good stuff. Battles, I mean,
They
it's
were a
early
bit-
Pokemon.
Like
so
they were they were kind of forced as to reasonings. The intro battle was a little weak,
it was very contrived.
and then you literally had to force the Pokemon to battle that last big battle.
Yeah. So, like the actual battles and not the brawl to the death, I'm gonna say those were like 6 out of 10. It wasn't much to look at. The Charizard fight was kind of neat, but
And then nostalgia,
nostalgia, 10 out of 10, obviously.
obviously.
Looking at this movie now, like none of us questioned the Pokemon crying and bringing Ash back to life when we were 10, right? Like,
No.
so in the end, it didn't really matter that much that they cut it. But for the adults in the room, when
Did you just call us adults?
I guess.
No.
But yeah, for the adults in the room watching this and me looking at it now with a critical eye and going, what is happening? This is happening now.
I
What
watched
is
this and I was okay with this before.
Yeah. 10-year-old logic.
Right.
But nostalgia, 10 out of 10. If you didn't grow up watching this movie, it definitely won't hit very hard, but yeah.
Unless you're a kid. In which case you're growing up watching this movie. Congratulations.
Yes.
And why are you on this channel?
So, I guess in the end, I would give this 4 out of 5 Mewtwo's.
4 or 5 Mewtwo's.
A solid brute.
And that'll conclude it for this video. Until the next time, guys. Keep it up in the void.
Like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test. Train